just have a think about how your skills right now are affecting your current role. And if it's coaching, that's fine. And if it's not, that's great too. And I just want you to jot down your top 1, 2, or 3. And just take a moment to think about that. So I believe that when you can identify why, what you're doing and what you're learning as a coach and how you're expanding, and the knowledge that you're taking on board can affect what you're currently doing, it will manifest at even greater level. So I believe it's really important to understand why and how it's helping you. When I first trained as a life coach, I wanted to move away from fitness. I thought, right, I don't want to be known for this anymore. I want to move. I loved coaching. I loved that connection of the mindset and learning more about that. And I fought probably for 2 years, 3 years maybe, of pushing away what I was already good at and what I was already doing. I pushed so hard to not be known for it anymore. And I still don't know why. I still, there's things in there, there's limiting beliefs, and there's reasons. I just wanted to reinvent myself and let's start again. These amazing skills. I'm going to just scrap everything and start again. And the day, I can't pinpoint the day, but the time that I realized, oh my goodness, I can just put it into my life, into my world, into my job. It was life-changing, absolutely life-changing, how these skills can be flow through what you're already doing. So you live it, you breathe it, you work it, and then you see what happens around you, and things change, life changes. And if you're working with people, I have found people change around you, and it's absolutely phenomenal. So in my experience, that has been just an absolute game changer.
Karen,
yes.
Do you want people to respond in the chat in terms of your question that you asked?
In terms of my question, no, they can keep it, that question they can just keep for themselves for a moment. Yeah, so just keep it there, and I'll give you a chance to come on. Thanks, Janine. Thank you. I'm going to give you a few moments that you're going to just have some self-reflection in a minute. So we're going to move on to the next question, actually, and that is, what do you feel, and this one actually you can put in the chat box because I'm very curious about this one. What do you feel physical fitness is for you? What does it mean to you? So you can, it'd be good to write it down because it will be great to go back to it. But if you want to add it into the chat box, I'm just going to have a little look at what comes up. What does physical fitness mean to you? Energy, relaxation, achievement, yes. Gym is my happy place, and knowing that I'm working out means that I'm honoring myself, my body, etc. Yeah, lovely. What else? Healthy mind, healthy body. So my strap line is strength in mind, strength in body. So very similar, being healthy and fit, self-care, creating good feeling chemicals. wellness in my body. Okay, great. So I'm hearing lots of health. So I'm going to ask you to just think even greater. Being physically fit, mental health as well, something I want but don't get around to focusing on. Okay, I am going to give you an opportunity at the end of this session to ask me about anything physically or mentally for fitness that I can support you with. So you're going to have time at the end of today to just pick my brains about all of it and how you can increase your mental and physical fitness. A balance between healthy body, mind and spirit. Brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to push you a little bit more, and I want to know what that health is to you. What does it do? What does being fit actually mean? So we've got some good ones there in terms of energized, that's a great one. Relaxation. I mean, even what does energy give you? What does it give you to do? If you're giving yourself self-care, what does that give you? And if you've got a balance between healthy body, mind and spirit, what does that mean to you? So you can keep, even if it's a one word, you can keep throwing them in the chat box there, and I'm just going to keep having a look at them. Power, love it. Power, ability to keep going, feel happy. Okay, loving myself. All right, now we're getting there. So this is what it means to you. This is what physical fitness means to you. Okay, keep going. Resilience, recognition, self-confidence. Yes, energy enables me to live my life on purpose, passion, a complete physical and social and mental well-being. Lovely. All right, so you can see how these strong, yeah, that word for me comes out so much. It's for me, it's all about strength, and that's why my strap line is strength in body, strength in mind. And you know, you can push on to ask why and what strength means to me as well. And strength in terms of physical fitness to me would mean being able to move well, being able to release any tensions that I hold for whatever reason, being able to have good functioning joints, being able to hold myself posturally really well, being able to move with connection to my core. So this is all physical strength and physical health to me. So when you can start determining what physical health actually is, the same as mental health, we'll come on to that in a minute, you can start figuring out what you have and what you want more of. When you've got more of it, you're going to be feeling better, even stronger. So again, if you've got any other things, what strength means to you, or not just strength, fitness and health, then pop it in the chat box or write it down, and we can bring it up and we can talk about it at the end. So move on to mental health then for a moment. What does mental health mean to you? If you have mental health, we all have mental health. If you have strong mental health, what does that mean to you? Pop that in the chat box for me. So this is moving on. Think and react with a clear mind. So clarity. So good mental health for clarity. Good. What else? Calmness, choices. Okay, brilliant. Love it. Ability to navigate challenges more easily. Okay, I can see I'm dealing with coaches here. Resilience. in challenging times, resilience, absolutely, being responsible. Love that. What else? So good, strong mental health. Healthy, happy life and relationships. Yeah, wise, taking the right decisions, able to cope with stresses in life. Definitely. Anything else? Present, responsible driver of my life. Okay. So inner peace. Lovely. You can see, or maybe you can't, but if what I see from that, putting those two together, that so much of those, the physical health, what that meant to you, and what the mental health meant to you, there is a lot of crossover. You can see that you're writing peace, you're writing calm, you're writing energized, you're writing clarity, you're writing, just bring that up again, let me just see what else we had on there, coping with stress. Now, can you see, you don't have to respond to this in the chat box, but just in your mind, can you see that many of those cross over, and if you have physical strength, it will affect the mental strength, and the mental strength will affect the physical. Now, I'm going to give you an example of this, a very strong connection, a personal example, and I've got two actually, one very, very recent and one years ago that was about the same time that I met Janine, and it was another driver for me to do what I do today. And that was, I went through, well, I was going through some unsettling times in my relationship, in my marriage, and didn't really realize it. But what it showed me when I first talked to Janine was how much I had in there that I was not happy with. And what coaching enabled me to realize was that it was my responsibility to do something about this. It's nobody else's, it was mine. But it took me a long time. It wasn't overnight to realize that, but it was over a course of a long time. But what did happen, because I carried that for such a long time, because I buried it for such a long time, I ended up becoming quite ill with it. And the place that where do you think the place affected me the most physically? If I'm talking about the relationship that I had that wasn't particularly happy with, and it was I had lots of issues in it, where would be the one place that you potentially might think that it affected? You can pop that in the chat box if you want. Let's see what we have up. Give it a stab in the dark. So if I was feeling upset in my personal relationship and I buried it and didn't do anything about it, where do you think that went? Spot on. Heart, stomach, cardiovascular system, in your body, unhealthy eating. Yeah, okay, right. So brilliant. Lower back. Yeah, okay. So we can see that there's a connection, and I'll tell you where it went straight to is my heart. So much so that I ended up with a pacemaker. So at 32, 3, I can't remember, 15 years ago, I ended up with a pacemaker. And I would lay money on the fact that I didn't need that. And I could have dealt with it, but I chose not to. I chose to keep it. I didn't consciously choose to keep it, but that's what happened. And not take action, not choose my own destiny, not choose where I wanted to head. I buried it, and it came out physically, and it came out with heart rates that I had issues with, and the doctors couldn't explain it. They knew what was happening. There were lots of symptoms, lots and lots of symptoms, and the pacemaker eradicated the symptoms. Didn't eradicate the cause. It eradicated the symptom, which now in our current day life, over the last 20 years, 30 years potentially, is exactly where this world is moving towards. What we do is cover up our mental or physical changes or ailments, and we mask it with drugs or excuses or reasons why we've got them, or we try and find something other than dealing with it. And this isn't for every single case, obviously, but there are a large percentage. And if I was to take a guess, I would say 60 to 70% in the UK of ailments could be treated with lifestyle and stronger physical and mental health. So I now have a pacemaker, and that's, can't take it out. 3 years ago, I was stubborn enough to ask my cardiologist, right, I don't want it anymore. Let's take it out. Let's do something with it. I'm in a much better position. He laughed at me and said, well, we can't take it out. You'll probably die. Let's turn it off. And I said, okay, let's turn it off. Let's see what happens. Let's just do it. And I ended up having 2 heart blocks. Not great. Really not good. So I now rely on it. I now rely on that pacemaker because I didn't deal with it correctly at the start. So I have to have it, which is fine. It's quirky for a fitness trainer to have a pacemaker. And a really strong example of getting to know your body, what's it doing, and what can you do about it? What's coming up? What's showing up for you? So again, now, not in the chat box, but on your piece of paper, in your journal, if you have it there now, what is showing up for you physically that you're avoiding? Is there anything? There may not be, and that's great. Is there something that's showing up for you physically that you could do something, that you could become aware of, that you could change, that would make those, when you wrote in the chat box about the physical health, what that means to you, would it make a change in any of that? Would it lead you closer to your physical health? Would it lead you closer to your mental health being stronger? What's showing up for you? Remember what I said at the start, that the first step to achieving good mental and physical health is being able to assess your own. And regularly assessing your own will put you in a much better position to support others, whether you're talking about physical health with clients or not. You will be in a much stronger position to do what you do if you assess your own. And I can say, working with other coaches and trainers, we're not that great at it sometimes. That's what I've found. And I don't know about you, but I say that because even now I'll think to myself, okay, I can't say I'm finding this hard. I'm a life coach. Life coaches are, we're perfect, aren't we? We do everything absolutely perfectly. We don't have any stresses in our lives. We're fit, as a trainer, I'm so fit. I'm really fit. I could run a marathon tomorrow. It's really understanding yes, we do have stresses. Thank you. Of course we have stresses. Stress is actually good for us. It drives us. It can be our friend. It's when it has a physical manifestation. I don't know, I can't say that one today.
Manifestation.
Thank you, Janine. It's when that happens, you know, it's a little bit of a warning sign. So I said I had two examples. My other example is very recent, and sadly, my dad is in very poor health, and we nearly lost him last week, and you know, it's a matter of time. And I take that very deep breath, and I notice that I'm doing that, and it's emotional, and it's tough. And last week we had a really, really hard couple of days as a family. And this week, what happened was my back went. My lower back just absolutely went into spasm. I don't have issues in my lower back, very rarely. I'm a Pilates teacher, so I don't often have it. Doesn't mean you can't, but I don't often have it because I look after it. And simply that stress, because it's what I do, it's my pattern, it's generally what I do, is bury it a little bit, because I've got to get on with, you know, as we do, life. And it was deeply upsetting, and it came out as spasms, muscular tension deep in my lower back and deep in my tummy, and to the point it was crippling. I couldn't even stand. So I really had to work very quickly to think, okay, this is likely to be a stress response. What can I do about it? I can't change the situation. That's not going to change, but I can do something positively for myself, which is what I did. And I chose to take that route. Whereas many clients that I will see, until they come and see me, will use the drugs, avoid the reason behind what's showing up, and try and mask it with anything and everything, and make a reason for it to be there. Now, of course, there are times when something physical has happened, you've had an injury, or you've slipped or done something, but in this instance I knew that there wasn't. And in many instances with clients, after talking with them, I can determine with them whether that's the case or not. So go back to your example now, have a look at what you've written down. Is there anything showing up for you right now physically that could be a sign of something needing to change? And if something's showing up, what is it? What's it potentially a reflection of? What's coming up mentally? Okay, with that in mind, I'm just going to pop on a photo of just a nice photo, and I'm going to ask you, if you are comfortable to, I'm going to ask you to stand up, and we're going to shake it all out. Literally, we're going to shake it all out. So you don't have to stand up if you don't want to, if you haven't got the space, or you don't want, you're more comfortable to sit, you can stay seated. But if you can, I would like you to just hold on to that thought that you've got on your paper right now, and then in your own space, just stand up for me. And I'm just going to, okay, I can't share in here. Okay, I'm not going to put the picture on because I didn't realize I can't share the stuff in this. Sorry, I should have sent it through to Janine. But so you can just see me standing up doing this. Okay, so I want you to just take a really deep breath and take the arms all the way around, and take some really strong breaths. And notice if there is something that's coming up for you, if that physical feeling or it's showing up somewhere, just notice that whilst we're doing this. Just be aware of it. Okay, now I want you to take the hands right up to the ceiling and stretch. I want you to squeeze your bottom, and I want you to press your hips just underneath a little bit, and I want you to lean backwards, just a little lean back. And then I want you to bring the hands down. I want you to put them on the hips, and I want you to circle them all the way around. Now you can see 2 days ago, I could not move. I was absolutely immobilized. But by doing this, it enabled me to release whatever it was that I needed to let go of. Okay, go the other way with your circles. So my Pilates classes, I work a lot on releasing, letting go of what the body is holding on to. Okay, hold on into the middle and just tuck under with the bottom and put the hands down by the side. And I want you to take a deep breath in, thinking of what it is that is showing up, and take a breath in, bringing the shoulders up to the ears and dropping. And again, what's showing up? Drop. And again. Now I want you to feel like you're pressing those shoulders right down now. Just drop the ear over to your left hand shoulder. And to the other side. Bring the head up and drop the chin into the chest. And just lift that head back up again. Now I want you to feel what it would be like to let go of whatever's showing up for you physically. What would it feel like to let that go, to not have it with you? And is there something mentally that you can also let go of? So when you breathe in next, which we're going to do in a moment, you're going to breathe in and get ready to let that physical, whatever's showing up physically, you're going to let it go. So take a breath in now. Take a breath in and hold it, please. And a strong breath out. And again, breathe in. Breathe out. And again. Just notice if whatever was showing up, if it's releasing at all whilst you're exhaling. I'm going to do one more. And then you're going to take the hands right up to the ceiling again. Stretch them up as high as you can go, tucking the hips under, leaning backwards, squeezing the bottom, squeezing the hips under, and then just shaking it out. And then I'd like you just to sit comfortably again, take a seat, just take a moment to breathe. And just notice if anything has physically changed for you. And I'm going to take you through a little bit more breath work, just to release anything else physically that may or may not be there. So we're going to take about 10 or 15 deep breaths, and we're going to do it quite quickly. And we're going to breathe in through the nose and mouth and out strongly through both. Okay, so we're going to do about 10 or 15. When I get to the end, I'm going to ask you to exhale, and you're going to hold that exhalation out. When you're holding that exhalation out, you're going to let the body do what the body can do, and that is to release any tension that is building and that is causing or showing up, creating issue for you. Okay, so have that in mind when you're taking this breath. On that last breath out, I'm going to ask you to exhale and hold. All right, so let's breathe. And it's strong breaths, and it's quite quick. So you keep breathing in and a strong breath out. And I want you to relax into your space. And just continue your breath. Let the body do what the body can do. And if you feel a little bit lightheaded or a little bit dizzy, just relax the breathing off a small bit. But just notice the difference that you're feeling. Notice how your mind is changing. Notice what the body is doing. Continue to breathe. Make it deep, make it strong, make it fairly quick. Let's do another 2. Hold this breath out, make it a long breath out, and then just hold the breath. Hold the breath where it is, no breath in. Let the body do what the body can do. Allow the body to release. It becomes quite alkaline now once your body has reduced and released all the oxygen. Allow it to rejuvenate the cells. Allow your body to relax. Allow the shoulders to drop. Allow the tummy to release, the back, even the legs, the arms, and just sit into your comfortable space. We're going to hold for just a little bit longer, continuing to hold, and then after 3, I'm going to ask you to take a really deep breath in. 2, 1, breathe in and hold that breath for 10 seconds. And exhale and relax. And just notice what you feel, what comes up for you, what you've let go of, and what physical change that is happening. Now, I'm curious if anyone wants to write in the chat box. I would love to hear what that did for you. So if there was anything particular that came up, just pop it in the chat box. Now, when I first started doing this type of breath work, the response for me was amazing. It gave me clarity. It allowed me to feel that the heart rate slows down. So of course I do with my heart rate issues, because my electrical system doesn't allow my heart rate to settle. It does what it likes, but I can control it with my breath. So you can see with your breath work how you can have a dramatic physical response. So just allow yourself to feel whatever you feel. Yeah, okay, that's exactly a feeling, a tingly sensation. Does anyone else have that? That's exactly what potentially will come up. And it is allowing the oxygen to get to the cells and for them to do what they need to do to change and to recover and to rejuvenate. Cells change very quickly. We don't have the same cells for that long. And we can, yes, tingly, mostly in my hands and legs. Yeah, isn't it amazing? By 20 breaths, the physical change that you can actually get in your hands, body, legs, feet, and maybe head. I would find it in my head as well. Okay, So that is a great thing for you to take away. Thank you. It's a great thing for you to take away if you are feeling physically challenged with something. If you have something and it's showing up, especially if it's from a stress response. Now, in the UK, we've got about 44% of people have got work-related ill health due to stress, depression, anxiety. 44%, I mean, that's nearly half of a workforce. That type of work that we've just done can really support that change and almost eradicate, in some instances, that stress, because it's a direct physical response. Now, how many of you, if you get nervous, have a tummy butterflies, we would call it in the UK, we'd say, oh, I've got butterflies. And it's that tingly, weird sensation in your tummy, or your heart rate flutters. So that's a nervous feeling if you perhaps, or you get anxious, which is very similar. You know, and they're natural things to feel nervous, anxious. I was nervous before I came on here. You know, thinking what am I going to do? What response am I going to get? My heart rate would automatically go up because it can't control itself. But I can take control of it, and I can take control of it by doing the breathing work that we've just done. And therefore it slows my heart rate back down again. It puts me into a much better position, and I find the clarity in that breath work in my head is a lot greater. Suddenly it provides blood and oxygen to the body. I mean, it's as simple as that. The blood and oxygen can get around to your body. You open yourself up and you can let go. Other statistics, we had almost 60% of people off work due to stress, not just work-related ill health, which was about 44%, but 60% actually off work. And they wouldn't necessarily identify it with being stressed. What would come up is, I've got a migraine, I've got a headache, I've got tummy ache, oh, my back's gone. So, you know, if I was in an office, I wouldn't have been able to go into work with the backache that I had. And I would have called in with backache. That wasn't it. That wasn't the true reason. So when we can support our clients and our workforce in particular, so I'm doing more and more work now in the corporate field to support employees, because we spend so much time at work, and work can often be the case or the cause or the add to our stress. Not always, but it can be. And so allowing yourself to become aware of that, what you do to support your own physical well-being is very important. So leading on to, what do you do? What are you going to do? How are you going to change your physical well-being now? Is there anything that is showing up for you that you would like to create or make better? I'm going to allow you to write in the chat box if you'd like some tips, or if you'd like me to answer any questions that you've got that's related to this or anything previous that we've talked about. But I want to know what you're going to do from a physical perspective to change, to improve your physical well-being. Just turn my chat box on. You can take a little bit of time to think about it. Just identify an area that you would like to improve. And you might want to look back at your notes at the beginning and have a look what health, physical health, means to you. Are you living it? Do you have it? How would you like to change it? just while you're having a think about that, I'll give you another personal example of how the mental and physical connection is so great. So I, as a family, I brought my 3 children home in 2016, and my eldest daughter was 14 at the time, so a pretty impressionable age. She was incredibly active, very sporty in Qatar, and did lots of stuff, lots of sport, lots of exercise, without it simply being exercise. I'm going to come back to this chat in a second so I can see it there, and I'll acknowledge them in just a minute. So very briefly, life changed dramatically when we came home. You can imagine we went from a Doha lifestyle to a UK lifestyle, single parents, working, and 3 children setting up. It wasn't easy, lots of challenges. And we all handle them very differently. And my eldest daughter struggled, is all I can say. And she came out of physical exercise because of being nervous at school, didn't want to engage, was embarrassed, at that age, very impressionable, 14, 15 years old. And it led to all sorts of issues, not only by the stopping of the physical exercise, but the change that she was encountering. And it led to severe mental health issues for my eldest daughter, which we're still working on now. And the lack of physical work, I could see, she couldn't of course see it, but I could see the lack of physical engagement had a detrimental effect on her mental well-being. And you see this a lot in schools in the UK, because it's quite challenged with our mental, with our timings in the physical work that we can do in schools, in PE lessons, etc. And the less she did, the more depressed she got, which then manifested in a different way. So once you lift the physical side up, the mental side will match. If you feel mentally better, you'll feel better to actually go and engage in physical exercise. So you've got to balance those 2 aspects, because they have such a close relation, not only directly on the body, but by doing one thing or the other. You can't lift one without the other being lifted. Now, only this morning I had a client, he's been on holiday for a week, and he probably indulged a little bit. He looks exactly the same. And I saw him and he said, "Oh, I feel absolutely awful. I feel fat. I feel this. I feel untoned. I feel really, really awful." And he looked no different. The only difference was he didn't do anything for the week. He was just relaxing, which I would wholeheartedly encourage. But he looked at it from a different perspective, and therefore had a real impact on what he was mentally feeling. Right, let's have a look at these things in the chat box. I will find 15 to 20 minutes a few times a week to focus on physical health, and at that moment this is a huge stretch for me due to family work commitments. Do you have any tips for workouts that are suitable for non-active person? I have loads of tips. I'll bring those out in a second. I feel yoga will give me the physical and mental health I want and need. I will work more on observing and paying attention to physical signs. Yeah, it does. Yeah, okay. So I think from the things that I'm reading here, you can really, you can really understand how what you do physically will have a direct connection on mental wellness. And finding 15 to 20 minutes should, I use that word, should be comfortable in your week. And it is all about finding what suits you. This is why I do not have a very relaxed approach to what you do. There is no one thing that is right. There are hundreds of ways to do things. And I get a little bit frustrated when I hear trainers say, right, it's got to be like this. You've got to do 3 times a week. You've got to do a run. You've got to do, yes, all of that is great, but not if it doesn't fit your lifestyle, because you won't do it. Simple as that. So it's got to fit in with what you're doing. It's got to be sustainable. And that's what we talked about at the start. Sustainability, having some accountability, and knowing why you're doing it. There are many aspects to fitness. There's strength, there's flexibility, there's cardiovascular fitness, there's mental health reasons that you do it. Why are you doing it? Then choose what workout, what mode of movement best suits you. It could be as simple as a walk. It could be, if you're trying to lift mood, be as simple as sitting and doing your breath work. And absolutely, I'm just going to read, I've got my chat box closed, but we do some squats and press ups in between conference call. Alison, I love that. Yeah, great. Exercise and breath must be in a daily schedule to get energy and power. So it's all about your priorities, what it is that you want. And I will always draw you back to why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you want it? What is it for you? And once you figure that out, or once I that's what I will do with clients, is help them to figure out what it is. Then you will be able to put something in. And that's when you might need or want the advice of someone like myself, who can happily just suggest things. But more than likely, you've got something you like to do. You like to go for a walk on the Corniche, or you like to play badminton, or you like to go for a cycle, or you like to sit and do some breath work. Be aware of what it's doing for you. Be aware of the physical connection that it has in your body and what it gives you mentally. They will work in parallel together. So my quick tips for getting an all-round physically fit persona: 100% Pilates type work. Always advocate that, because it gives you the breath work. It gives you the deep core connection, which is great for your postural work. So it'll help your whole alignment in your body, and it will keep your joints working as they should. And it will, so Pilates type movement, it's the underpinning. Cardiovascular work, so that could be in any form that you enjoy. So just lifting the heart rate up 3-4 times a week if you possibly can, for 15-20 minutes. Pump the body with oxygen. Definitely, when we get oxygen to the muscles, when we get oxygen to the head, when we can circulate the blood, you will think differently. There is not a chance that it won't happen. Not a chance. You will think differently when you do it. So when I work with people that are struggling with a little bit of motivation, I will simply get them to run on the spot for 1 minute. That's it. And they go, that's not going to do anything to my fitness. No, but it's going to do something to your mental health, which will in turn have a direct impact on your physical. because you will do it. So that's a great way. Strength work, as a woman, I absolutely advocate strength work to be included in all sorts of routines. Loved Alison's squats and press ups, you know, working the big muscle groups, just being able to get the muscles to respond in a positive way, to get them toned, stronger, and more supportive to your skeletal system. When that happens, you can sit better, you'll sit differently. We won't sit like this so much, we'll sit like this, and it will be a good protection of the back, so that you don't start feeling it in the joints, which then again straight away will have a negative impact on your body, on your mind. So strength work, Pilates work, and a little bit of cardiovascular work. And if you want me to elaborate on any of that, I'm happy to do so now. I'm happy to answer questions. You can directly message me, and I will happily give some advice on that. So where are we? What have we learned? What's going on for you guys? Just pop it in the chat box where you are right now. What's your body feeling? Maybe a bit tired after being sat there for 90 minutes, almost 90 minutes. And I bet now you're thinking, okay, you need to get up and move. You need to sort of move around a little bit. Your body is telling you that. And yeah, good. Ready for some more Pilates. Yay, always ready for Pilates, Janine. Good. Focus. So it's all about focus. It's all about knowing, being aware. Some people call me the awareness coach now, because I talk about it so much, about awareness of what you are doing. I'm going to close by giving you one other example of something that I heard. So we live on the high street and next to a bank. And of course, at the moment, everyone has got their masks on, and people, I was standing in my bedroom, which overlooks the high street, and underneath people were queuing, lining up to get into the bank, socially distancing. And I heard a conversation which between two people, and I didn't see them, but one of them said, oh, I've got diabetes. And so my ears pricked up, because I find, you know, the health of people fascinating. And she said, so people better put a mask on to protect me from me getting sick from with my diabetic condition. Now, not making too many assumptions, but hearing this kind of conversation quite a lot in my world, with my clients and the people that I surround myself with, something struck me very much listening to that conversation. It went on, but that was the gist of it. And what I feel passionately about is taking responsibility for yourself, taking responsibility for your own health, not to expect others to fix it, or in this instance, to put a mask on in order to protect themselves. Diabetes in particular is very much lifestyle orientated, and can most of the time be dramatically affected with proper lifestyle advice. So what I really wanted to do, obviously didn't, what I really wanted to do is have a conversation with that lady and say, well, look, you know, you could take responsibility for your health by changing what you're doing. What's your lifestyle like? I was dying to ask her. I was so curious about what she does, because I have found in the UK, and I find it fascinating with the masks, I'm not going to go on about this because it's a huge subject, but we debate it in the circle of people that I work with. what it has allowed some people to do is use it as a reason not to take responsibility for themselves. So it is literally a physical mask. I'm protected. I don't need to do anything else. It's again the way, certainly the UK, but I see globally, but the UK especially, let's put something out. Let's not actually do what we need to do to change. And that is to look within. It's not the easy option to change your health. Might not be easy, but it is essential. It's absolutely essential if you want strong mental health and vice versa. So that mask, she was given the permission, I feel, to not have to do anything else but use that and expect others to do the same. So I found that really interesting. I'm going to leave that thought with you and encourage you to take responsibility for your physical and mental health as coaches and as individuals. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me, Janine. Thank you for listening. Thank you for engaging. It's been an absolute pleasure. And if you've got questions now, please pop them up or feel free to contact me at any point, and Janine can give my details, or my details are probably on you can search for me on the Facebook I'm on. Thank you.